it was just too good. And we were told that as soon as we got there, like, hey, what we're about to do probably won't ever happen again in your career. This is special, so stand by. I was fortunate that my first platoon was too good. We were on point. It was exactly what the brochure said on this one. I mean, it was at night. No one knew we were there. We got in, got out. By the time we were down the mountain, getting back to the VIX, you heard the warning shots. They just found their guys. You got the plan, right? Hey, we're going to get there. We're going to learn. I'm going to be able to pick my dog. I'm going to pick my dog. And it's just this little yellow dog, man. Fast forward, he's the only one that actually deployed.
Really?
Yep. You're never going to get one like this again, man.
Well, not with that attitude.
Well, that's all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's both an honor and a pleasure to welcome my next guest to the podcast. He spent 8 years on active duty as a U.S. Navy SEAL at SEAL Team 10, did 2 combat deployments, one to West Africa and one to the West Al-Anbar province of Iraq, which we're going to dive heavy into. He was Canine Mickey's handler who received a Navy Accommodation Medal with Valor, which we'll for sure get into. He then transitioned into being the leading petty officer of the multi-purpose Canine East Coast Kennel, and then ended up being the senior enlisted advisor at that same entity. He's a team dog canine nutrition liaison / frontman, and he's Lando Calrissian's stunt double from Star Wars. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Chris Cappa.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Dude, thanks for coming. The Lando Calrissian thing, I had to look it up because I wanted to see how he was described.
Right.
And it's a smooth-talking smuggler who changed from a get-rich-quick schemer to a selfless leader. So,
I love it. I absolutely love it.
There you have it.
I can't wait for that to stick. Yeah, that's going to be good.
What's the last book that you've read, like the full book that you've read and finished?
I like the last book that I read was actually the Bible. It was not from cover to cover, obviously. But in reality, the most interesting book that I've read, that I've finished recently, would absolutely have to be a Mike Ritland book.
No, come on. You did not read it.
I did.
Which one?
Trident Warriors.
No shit.
I did. And I'll be honest with you, it's outside of my character to do so.
Really?
Yeah, I like to, because we hadn't met yet.
Yeah.
I like to meet people who write these great books. I like to meet them in person. And then it helps me kind of get context for where you're coming from in the book, to be honest with you. But I definitely enjoyed it. You're skilled.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but I appreciate you reading it, and thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, no problem.
Favorite kids cereal growing up?
I mean, Reese's Puffs.
Really?
Reese's Puffs. And to this day, it's still a Reese's Puffs.
That's a big fan favorite for...
Yeah.
All right.
Other than the fact that if you eat too much of it, the top of your mouth is blown out. It's blown out.
It's like eating too many nachos.
Yeah.
What's the most memorable tradition from your family growing up?
You know, my family was a little scattered. But I will say when we were all together, it was obviously during the holiday time. Yeah. We would jam about 16 to 17 people in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Yeah. And it would be absolute mayhem and chaos, but it was beautiful. Yeah. And that to me, and I'm trying to recreate that with my family now, obviously. Get everybody to my house, jam in their Home Alone style, and have a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you have a favorite childhood game?
Ooh, sharks and minnows in the pool.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Shit.
And that's what translated pretty well here through training.
Yeah, no shit.
So, sharks and minnows in the pool.
Yeah. Did you guys ever play that in Buds? Did the instructors ever have you play that?
No, we didn't get that luxury.
We did a few times. I mean, it was violent. It was
absolutely,
what about underwater hockey?
Underwater hockey and polo. Yeah. Water polo is a huge one. And that's just drowning everybody till they quit and hold on to the sides.
Yeah. God, I used to love that shit.
Yeah.
What's your AM routine? First, what time do you get up in the first couple hours of your day?
Absolutely. So I'm normally woken up by my canine partner, Mickey, kind of squabbling at me outside, and that's between 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Oh, no shit.
So I like to get him up early. He gets me up early. And then from there, we'll go ahead and get him decked out, and we're going to get him outside and get him out some free walk time. And for me, that's time for me to kind of set my mind for the day, right? I'm really just taking that time to think about what I need to get accomplished, make sure he's not running off into somebody's yard, obviously. Yeah. And then on the way back, we'll after that 10, 15 minutes, we'll jump into the gym. Yeah. He'll go on the treadmill, and then I start doing calisthenics, weightlifting, whatever the case may be for the day. Yeah. By that time, I got one mini terrorist waking up. Yeah. So it's time to start getting him ready for the bus, and my wife does a great job taking care of that, so I can have my morning to myself.
Do you subscribe to like a particular workout regimen, or is it just you try to do some movement in the morning?
When I was active duty, obviously we were very structured. Yeah. The HPP program took care of us. They handed us, hey, here's the get well plan, execute. When I transitioned out, what I found is I needed some time off. Yeah. I needed to let the body and just kind of breathe and break a little bit. But now it's really a functional. That kind of shows my age there, doesn't it? It's a more of a functional lift and workout,
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, some stretching and things like that, and then lighter weights, more volume than anything.
Yeah, I'm going for tone.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Just trying to stay relevant is what I tell people.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Do you eat the first few hours of the day?
I don't.
Really?
I don't eat the first few hours of the day. What I really like to do is I like to get that morning, and just water would be great. I've been kind of flirting with some pre-workout recently, just to get that motivation to get things going. But no, mainly water till about 10:30.
Really?
Yeah, I like to do a little bit of intermittent. Nothing too crazy. I got crazy with it before and kind of saw the results, and it was great. But to keep that level of intensity on that wasn't a good fit for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear. I've tried just about everything, and for me the lack of carbohydrates for too long. Yeah. It just it starts to mess with my brain and
a little cloudy.
Yeah, and I don't sleep very well, and I feel real flat during workouts, and right. It's a hard balance for me. It's easily the biggest thing, diet, training, nutrition, whatever wise that I've struggled with is balancing the amount of carbohydrates that it's to find just enough to get the job done, but not too much. Because I'm kind of a fat kid at heart.
Same here, man. I just we found the cookie shop down the road.
Yeah, that place is nuts. All right, so where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Hartford, Connecticut.
Really?
So I'm up northeastern guy. I'm a Yankee. I still have family up there.
Yeah.
Enjoy a good snow.
What are the two key components for canine success? That's effective training and proper nutrition. Fueled by Team Dog brings those two components to your family and best friend. The perfect nutritional balance that results in a higher mental acuity, energy, overall vitality, and even an improved appearance. Every product you will find in my company's store was born from the battlefield and not from the boardroom. Let my life's work help you become your dog's hero. And what was, I guess, how would you characterize your childhood growing up there?
I didn't spend a lot of time there. I was born there, and right before first grade, we made the transition down to Virginia. Okay. We did follow some family members down to Virginia. In Connecticut, though, I remember vividly, literally walking to school in the snow.
Yeah. Uphill both ways?
Uphill both ways, in shorts.
Yeah.
But I do remember starting school there. I remember the winters there, and then we made that transition to Virginia, and that's really where I call home at this point.
Did you have a number of siblings?
I do. I have an older brother and an older sister, blood related. Then I have a little brother and a little sister because I was adopted.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In that first few years in the Connecticut time frame, would you say it was a stable environment? Or?
Yeah, I did. My mom worked hard. Single parent household, but she did well for the situation we were in.
So even at that young age, your dad wasn't?
No, wasn't there at all. So no positive male role model to speak of father-wise. Again, I did have when I say older brother, I mean, he is 20-some years older than me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't really say it was a mistake. I think I'm a blessing, right? Yeah. But, mom had him when she was 16, had me when she was 40.
Oh, wow.
So we had a little bit of a gap there. Yeah, it's a little bit of a gap there.
Yeah. Well, so you said you were adopted.
Yeah, I did. I got adopted actually 4 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So that was an adult adoption. It was to two individuals that are now my parents that showed me what right was. They stuck with me from the time I was 15 years old, and they opened up their home to me. They put a roof over my head at a certain point in my life, and they really helped ground me and show me, nothing. It's not always gonna be sunshine and rainbows,
Yeah.
but they definitely showed me what a functioning family looks like.
All right, so your real mom, you were born
Biological mom, yep.
and spent the first 15 years with her.
Absolutely, even longer. Till I was 18 and left.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you moved down to Virginia, did that change anything as far as the family?
It changed the family dynamic because we were following family there, and then that family left Australia.
Oh, wow.
Kind of left, me and my biological mom there. So it was hard, and I had cousins that I was growing up with. So I had kids my age to kind of hang out with. I had my grandmother was there, 2 aunts, and poof, second grade, they were all gone.
Wow.
So that was pretty impactful on me, and I would say that was a pretty big pivot point in my life because I lost my support system, I felt like.
Yeah.
And they went off and did great things, and now they have beautiful families, all throughout the world. But that point in my life, we had like 14 to 17 people in about a 2-hour radius, and that kind of went away.
Yeah. So at that point, I'm assuming with the age gap difference with your siblings, were they in the house or not?
No, so they were still up north. They hate the South.
Yeah.
It's hard to get them down there. So we were really disaggregated, and the sense of family started to really erode for me. And that's something I've always wanted was that, again, home alone sense of family. Everyone's in the house. It's chaos, but it's love too.
Yeah. Calling each other little jerks.
And whatever comes out, you know?
All right, so you moved to Virginia. You're in first grade. At that point, is it just you and your mom, pretty much?
Yeah, pretty well. For a little while, I think I made it to again first grade, second grade. One of the aunts with the 4 kids, she decided to get up and leave, and kind of was holding things together for us. But yeah, after that, it was kind of me and my biological mom, and again, a lot of freedom of movement for me, considering the situation. So. Not a lot of oversight, and I was pretty much able to do what I wanted, where I wanted, and where I was living, I could get on the bike and ride miles and not hit a main road. So I got to explore quite a bit when I was young, and I think that helped with my independence and kind of helped learn, how to get things done on my own.
Was there, in terms of a focus on school from your mom? Did she at least make you go?
Yeah, I was definitely in school, not as much. Once I got to high school, that was, rough, but but yeah, middle school, elementary school, I attended. I was there. Don't know how much I was actively learning and engaging at the time, but yeah, I was on the bus.
Yeah. Did anything like big ticket wise, from an impactfulness standpoint, happen? That was significant enough to where it's something you think about often as you were growing up, like any big ticket items that happened?
It was like I don't want to say death, but it was like just 1,000 paper cuts of just like constantly not having structure, not having people I could, really go to for mentorship or, hey, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And I think I look back at that now and I value that a lot, being honest with you. At the time, I didn't understand it, and it was frustrating.
Yeah.
Why do they get what looked like perfect, and I get what I've got? There's a reason for that, and I'm definitely seeing the silver lining now.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't one specific knee-jerk, impactful thing. It was just kind of over time.
Yeah.
Just kind of over time.
Did you have any relationship or even meet your real dad?
Yeah, so the first time I met him was in, right around second, third grade. Came to visit. He's from Trinidad, heavy accent. At the time, he was really well into the cruise ship business, so he's always moving. And I remember the first time I met him, from Trinidad, we got gold everywhere. He likes nice things. And the first thing he did to me, hey son, and handed me a gold anchor chain and a black and gold leather banded Gucci watch that I still own to this day.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember wearing that stuff to school like I was hot shit, man. I'm talking, you couldn't see me with that watch until I hung it on the fucking soccer net and ripped it. And it was gone. So so that was the first time I met him. And then he came back. I had a senior night, I think, in high school football. Oh, wow. Which was super awkward, right?
Yeah. I didn't know him
I don't know who you are. I get the size and my looks, but I didn't know him very well, and the picture was super cringy. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you, like at that age, the first time you met him, that's got to be confusing. What do you remember what was going through your mind or kind of how you tried to rationalize it?
Yeah, like, where you at, man?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? And
did you ask him that?
Yeah, he's really good at deflecting. But with all that being said, I look back at that, and there's 3 sides to that story, obviously.
Yeah.
There's his, hers, and then the truth.
Yeah.
So whatever transpired between my biological parents, that's their business. As I got older, I could, see the tendencies in certain individuals on why that didn't work, and which led me, obviously, to where we are now. So stay in contact with him. He calls about every week. I don't have any ill will or anything against him. It just it was a good life lesson learned. And I always say, he didn't show me what to do. He showed me kind of what not to do.
Yeah.
So I can pour into my kids, man.
Sure.
I just pour into mine at this point and show them.
Yeah. Did he give you any type of father-son talks during your childhood at all? Like any advice, or this is the right way to nothing?
Nah, man. I dive into that. What's the why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, we both got interpersonal communication skills on, we should be able to have. I just don't think he ever got it when he was a kid. I think he was like one of 12,
To me, what's fascinating about that, though, is that, if he never got that, he turned out the same way. Right. But you didn't get that, and you didn't turn out the same way.
Breaking the cycle, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Not weird. It's interesting to me. Right. Some childhoods that take place break children
absolutely
forever.
Yep.
And some, it's like it inspires / motivates them to do the exact opposite. And it's like, despite all of these horrible circumstances growing up, some kids grow up to be just phenomenal individuals, and some end up to be total dirtbags. You know, I don't know what
that driving, what's
the catalyst that sends it either way. I don't know. I don't know if it's purely genetic. I don't know if it's chance. I mean, I don't know if you could even really study that. I wish somebody would, but
it's a great point you're bringing up, though, because again, it's almost like there's a fork in the road, and you have a choice to make at a certain point, whatever the point might be in your life. Yeah. And for me, it was just, it's going to keep going on. We got to keep progressing.
Yeah. Did you get in any real trouble prior to turning 18?
No, I was really good at not getting caught, man. I was really good at not getting caught. After 18, we spent some time and,
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that. For sure.
Yeah.
Did you play any sports growing up?
I did. I was football. Didn't start playing sports until about 8th grade.
Yeah.
Got introduced to football. Liked it. Loved it. Wrestling, track. Again, just was gifted with speed.
Yeah.
So I could move pretty quick. Football carried me all the way into college. So it was cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And that's where I ended up meeting my father, Mr. Joel Hughes, and he was my 9th grade football coach.
Really?
Yes, sir.
So football was, of all the sports that you played, that was kind of your main.
Yeah, that was
sport.
it. That was it.
Did you, what position did you play?
I played, on our offense, it was an ace back, so like a fullback, some running back, and then a whole lot of outside linebacker. Yeah, they like just coming off the edge on where I was at. So,
and then did well enough in high school to.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. All right, what happened?
All right, so I did athletically. I was okay. You couldn't find me in class though.
Yeah.
So I had a hard time getting anybody to take a look because you needed that 2.0, and I don't think I was even close at the time, man. I was pretty close to not making it out of high school, if I'm being honest with you. So that put me into a little, community college for a couple semesters and got my act together. And again, Father Joel Hughes comes into play. Hey man, you're going to school. Comes and buys the books. Make sure I have everything I need to start my community college so I can reach the goal of going to play college football. So without him, I wouldn't have had that opportunity.
Wow.
So.
How was your mom at this point? When you're in 9th grade and the football coach starts to play a more active role, was she receptive to that? Was she?
No, she sensed it.
So
I could tell she sensed
it.
She knew I loved it. She knew this is what I needed, but she could also sense that they're giving him something I can't, and I knew that, and I felt for her. But she also wanted what was best for her baby boy too, right? So that's got to be a hard one to split. But I could tell she sensed it. We talk about it to this day, like the time that he first came to the house and met her, and she was defensive. Who's this man with my kid?
Yeah.
But man, I grew up.
Yeah.
I had to make my own choices. So
yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I can see where being in her shoes, it would be a double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I mean, I'm not a mom, right?
Right.
I can't really even project and try to put myself in that position other than just thinking about it. But you would think that ultimately a mom would be like, man, my son needs a strong male role model in their life and would be accepting towards that, not resistant. But
well, you got to remember at single parent households at that age, I'm the man of the house, and I've been the man of the house. So she's not just, she's losing the man of the house, not just her son, right? I'm doing tasks, things that help, bringing in a little bit of money to help support, here and there. It was a threat for her, for sure. Yeah.
All right. So he starts working with you in 9th grade, getting you into school more. You do well enough to graduate, I assume? I
do. So I was fortunate enough to have coaches all the way through who said, hey, man, you got to get this done. You've got to do it. The blessing and the curse was charm. I could charm the pants off my, hey, just put your name on the test and I'll get you, get you the C. Cool, coach, appreciate you. But what'd that do for me later down the road? Yeah. Kind of crippled me a little bit, right? Yeah.
So once you graduated, did you go on to college?
So I graduated, went directly to a community college because I had the pamphlet for football, and that's all my goal was to go play football. So got into community college, did my time there, and then shipped off as fast as I could to Christopher Newport University, right in Newport News, and started my journey there. And
how did that go?
Well, let's see. It didn't go well. Ended up in handcuffs a few times.
Really?
I had a chip. There was some tension between the football and baseball team, just college kid stuff. And I got caught that time. So we got into a huge brawl. Ended up getting a warrant. I'm on the thing. We were going to ODU basketball game with me and a couple of the buddies, and we're riding along in this like shitty, Jetta or something like that, no gas, and I get the call from the head football coach. Coach, well, what's up? Cap, you got to come back. I got the cops here looking for you. Oh, okay, coach. We're turning around. We're in the tunnel. I'll be right there. So I get to his office. He's like, hey, man, you got to turn yourself in. Whatever happened last night. And I'm like, obviously we're bloodied and knuckles are a little swollen and stuff like that. And he's like, I suggest you just turn yourself in, man. Don't let him come looking for you. I was like, all right. So I did. Turn myself in. So, at that time it was a slap on the wrist, no big deal for me. Ended up turning into a malicious wounding charge, which then gained some traction, which then, school was now at risk, future's at risk, and I'm really starting to rethink my priorities and like how I'm going to navigate this new landscape of trouble that I'm in. So I called Joel, my dad. Whatever they're telling you to do, Chris, you need to go do. Whether it be community service, if you need character statements, you need to start getting some people that were there to help defend yourself if it's going to be this big of a charge. And unfortunately, I was going against some individuals who had a lot more, just more money than I did. So they had lawyers. They had, a case built against me, essentially saying that I potentially could have ruined his baseball career and so forth and so on. So that was a tough one for me. Ended up getting some community service, removed off the team for a little bit, and worked my way back on. Fast forward. Going to buy some guns from the pawn shop years later.
How old are you at this point?
Just left college. So we're like 22 maybe, right? And I'm going to buy these guns and I'm like, all good. Yeah, it may just be a few minutes for your background check. Just take a seat, relax. No problem, cool. Hour goes by. Another hour. I'm like, dude, what's up? We'll stay here because, it'll be like, now the hair's starting to come up a little bit. I'm like, oh no, I'm getting trapped. So police officers walk in like, hey, dude, you got a warrant out from like 2008 or 6 or something like that. I'm like, let's go figure it out, boys. Let's go figure it out. And I was like, I guess I'm not getting these guns today, huh? And they're like, we'll hold them for you, man. Sweet. Get down to the precinct and they're, going through the files and they're like, something's not right here, man. Like something just isn't adding up. You've done what you're supposed to do. You've done the community service, blah, 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 blah. So this little incident, one in particular, had followed me all the way for years. To that point, got myself in, back in front of the magistrate, got out of that in trouble. Fast forward, we'll get into that, but now I got to get into the Navy. They didn't like that charge, so that took quite a bit of work to work through that one. But so through college, it was I did run into some trouble with the law. drinking, fighting.
Did anything ever happen with that, the pawn shop incident? Did they say, no, everything's fine and you're free to go?
No, I went to the No, they took me in the back of a cop car downtown Norfolk. Got in front of the magistrate. I think it was on a Friday. So I was like, dude, I do not want to get put in this place till Monday. Like, let's get out of here. And they were kind enough to say, this doesn't make sense. We got to put you in the cell for a minute. Give me another couple hours to work it through. And the magistrate basically said, you got to go back into the court and like get this figured out because it's not filed right. It's not, whatever it is, it's not right. So he was on my side, which was great. Got out of there in about 5 or 6 hours. And I went on about my business and started to really dig into that because I didn't want that following me anymore, right? So, yeah.
Did that end up getting dismissed or expunged?
Yeah, so I had to go back to court for that one. It was just me standing there with the judge, with the public defender, right? And they're like, yeah, you've done what you need to do. You've written all your statements. You've explained it to us. And they ended up dropping the charges after that. So it was good. Yeah, it was good. It got that resolved properly.
Yeah. All right. As you guys know, I used to dip when I was in the military, as a lot of us do. The tradition of it and just the ritual, which the enjoyment that comes from that is significant and not one that I particularly like to give up, as I know a lot of my brothers in arms tend to feel the same way, which is why I like Black Buffalo. It's got 2 product types, which are long cut and pouches. They're made from the same base ingredients, which is edible green leaves, food grade ingredients, and no tobacco leaf or stem. In both of those formats, you can get wintergreen, mint, straight peach, or blood orange. And it's just it's a phenomenal product that is tobacco free. They also have nicotine, pharmaceutical grade nicotine versions and nicotine free versions if you want to ditch the nicotine as well. It's something that I've enjoyed and been able to transition off of dip from, and it's something that, in terms of honoring that ritual and getting that same feeling of having that ritualistic dip is pretty awesome. So go to blackbuffalo.com for your introductory package and get 20% off with code MicDrop. That's blackbuffalo.com, 20% off, code MicDrop.
Warning. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Black Buffalo products are intended for adults age 21 and older who are consumers of nicotine or tobacco.
I want to take a second to talk about something near and dear to my heart, and that is a staunch supporter of this podcast, which is Bub's Naturals. The hat sitting in front of me here on our coffee table here in the studio belonged to Glenn Doherty. His nickname was Bub. I did 2 platoons with him. And his childhood best friend and another colleague of theirs, Sean is the best friend, TJ is their colleague, started Bub's Naturals, which is a collagen and MCT oil company in Bub's or Glenn's honor. And, for me, it's an absolute honor to be sponsored by and working with a company that, was started in the honor of one of my closest friends and a guy that I went to war with. And, the Bubs brand is not only super quality, collagen powder as well as MCT oil powder, but they also give back to the Glenn Doherty Memorial Foundation. They donate proceeds from their product sales to the Glenn Doherty Memorial Foundation, which, to me just furthers, the mission set on Veterans Day. They give 100% back. So, I do believe it's the best collagen on the planet. I like to mix it in with morning coffee. The MCT oil powder, the same thing. It mixes in very easy. It tastes great, and it just kind of adds everything that you want to start your day off from a brain health standpoint, from joint support, gut support. MCT oil and collagen are 2 components, especially as we age, that are integral components to health. And so to be able to work with Bub's Naturals and be able to work with them and sponsor a product that, number 1 is a high quality product, and number 2 is so near and dear to my heart and to the Mic Drop podcast for who it was started for and what it stands for. It's just it's an amazing place to be. So it is Whole30 approved. It's sports certified, so you're not going to run into any problems with that. And I will say that right now they're offering 20% off if you go to bubsnaturals.com and use the Mic Drop code. So I really highly encourage you to try it out. incorporate it into your day-to-day for joint health, for brain health, for cognition, for gut health, and to support an amazing organization that does a lot of things in Glenn Bub's honor. So go to bubsnaturals.com. Mic drop is the code, 20% off. So that's after college.
Yes.
Did you play football that whole time in college?
Yeah, I was there for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
2008 happened. I ran back home to my biological mom. No money, so started getting into dogs.
Yeah,
big time. Went home, started working, helping out with the house. I was really into American blue nose pit bulls at the time, to standard.
Yeah.
I was really big on the standard of them, and we started breeding them. Got really into the breeding and whelping of dogs at that point, and financially was what's kept the lights on during 2008, 2009. So gained some experience there. Fell in love with it, super passionate about it, and just kept continuing with dogs from there on out. But yeah, 2008, 2009 was back, working, grinding, and then I never saw another classroom after that until Buds.
What were you doing job wise?
So that's a great story too. So back in college, we had the football house, and my next door neighbor, pretty affluent individual. He would come over and always call the cops on us, man. And they'd send me out to go talk to him because, hey, Cap, go out there. You're older. You can, you talk to him. Okay, I got you. A good buddy of mine now named Jim Cox would come out and just motherfuck us. Cops at the house trying to shut down the party. I get it. Well, 2 weeks later, he has a party. Big party. Yeah, my my neighbor over here at 112. So now he walks over and again, he's got this guy's got money, He's got some of his friends over. He's embarrassed at this point, so he comes over to us. It's getting pretty jolly. We put the swords down. We move on. Comes to me as I'm leaving school. Goes, hey, I just want to know if any of you guys were looking for jobs.
Yeah.
Me? Yeah, matter of fact. So I picked up a job with him running 3 mattress stores.
Really?
Yeah, I was a mattress regional manager for Mattress Outlet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Got more sales.
Yeah. So you did that for a few years?
Yeah, a few years there. Was breeding dogs, running mattresses. From there, I got into the kind of the bar gig. Found a home in the bar scene for a little bit, and that was good, really good. And then I got into more sales, which with Crown Royal and Southern Wine and Spirits and Diageo. I was a off-premise rep, so I got to go around to all the bars, restaurants, and peddle liquor. Yeah. So not a bad gig there,
know. And so how old are you at this point?
Right there, I'm at 22, 23, moving into that space.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you did that for a few years?
Yeah, I was there for about 3 years.
So at the end of that, you're now 25?
Yep, 25. Lost as they get, man.
Yeah. So at that point, you were like, man, I have no idea what I want to do for the long haul.
None.
Yeah.
I did get into kickboxing, Muay Thai.
During that?
Yeah, during that time. I needed an outlet, right? Yeah, I needed an outlet. Knew I needed to get something physical out. So I signed up at the gym down the road. Lynx Academy of Martial Arts. Had no idea what I was getting myself into. Just said, whatever, we'll do it.
There's a lot of damn net guys there, wasn't there?
There is. Yeah. There is. And I didn't. This is how the whole thing leads to where I'm sitting right now. Yeah, it's how I got here. Yeah. Started training first, got proficient, started competing, loved getting punched in the face, so started competing a little bit, and then started teaching. And I like teaching the kids. There was a lot of reward there, a lot of passion in them, The adults were great. I did a lot of intros for the adults, but the kids were something where I could take it and see that improvement every single day. And it was very fulfilling for me. So I was like, ooh, I might have found something here. Well, the road keeps going. We open up another store, another academy closer to Dam Neck. And now the clientele is a little bit different, right? I'm getting these high-level individuals, right, that are coming in. But at the time, I had no idea. Wasn't reading about it. Wasn't into it. Knew that the owner of the academy I was at was a plank owner for SEAL Team 6. Awesome martial artist. Dude will kill you with a cotton ball. And he looked at me and was just like, hey, we're going to move to this space. I want you to do the kids program, help out with Dan and the other guys, and build it up. And that happened for a while. And then I started realizing who I was teaching. And these people were different. They just carried themselves differently. They had a confidence about them, spoke very well. They wanted the best all the time, and they demanded that from their kids. So their kids were dialed in, man. I mean, there was no BSing on the mat. These kids were dialed in. They were there to work, and they did. So then it started intriguing me, and I really started, the light bulb started coming like, hey, so what do you do? And their dads were coming in to train, like you just said, and they had a contract. They come and use the gym. And they were looking at me like the subject matter expert because, hey, can you hold pads for me? Can you show me a little bit better on this kick or this technique? No problem. And I start digging into who these folks are and realizing, hey, man, these are the guys, the guys that you're training. And okay, cool. We get into that. I stayed at Lynx for a while. That was home. That was a good place for me. And then Extortion happened. And
did you know any of those guys?
Oh man, I know their kids. Worse than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was their kids. So I think that happened on a Friday, and the moms brought the kids in for Saturday. Saturday's an early morning at the gym. It's 6 a.m. That's early Saturday. You could tell. We all knew what just happened. The owner, hey, you're keeping them all day. Get a bounce house, birthday party, whatever you got to do, but they're going to need some time. And when I saw this collective group of warrior, of women figuring out the next step of their lives, I just, something came to me and said that was, yeah. And it wasn't a revenge, go get back for the boys, a little bit of that obviously, but it was right then and there I'd made the decision that we're gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do it. And then I had the luxury of having, again, the guys kind of say, hey man, you might be a good candidate in the unlikely event. Yeah. That started, at that point, in the unlikely event that you make it. So
did they give you any tutelage, training wise, prep wise?
I was kind of weird about it. I was like, I didn't want to know all the answers because then the anxiety goes through the roof, right? I kind of want the unknown a little bit. But I did have one gentleman who just, when I say he poured into me, been there, done it, former instructor, so he knew the standards pretty well. He took time out of his day, get in the pool, kind of checking boxes.
Yeah.
To make sure that, okay, you're tight, man. You're tight there, but let's go check this spot out. Okay, you can swim, got it, but can you do this? So he really started poking at kind of my deficiencies before I started training, and I can't thank him enough for that because he really, really opened up the floodgates for me as far as being able to be confident with my abilities once I did get there. Yeah.
How long from when Extortion happened until you actually joined? And
great question, because it was a while.
Yeah.
Because I backed myself up. So started running, swimming, doing my thing. Okay, cool. PSTing, great. 4 days before I leave for boot camp. 4 days. We're in Richmond. We are doing some kickboxing training. There's a fighter down there who's getting ready for the K1 tournament, I believe it was. I forget his name, Francis Mbang, I believe. He was a French kickboxer. So he's down there getting ready to fight. Me, Max Semenzer, and FCJ, Frank Cucci Jr. go down there, and we're just going to do some sparring rounds. Nothing crazy. I end up snapping my radius, checking a kick.
Oh, wait.
I'm talking. Yeah. I went to and I heard it, and I was like, fuck, no way.
Yeah. Have you had any injuries like that happen?
Nothing, man. I dislocated my elbow, actually.
Yeah. Off
a four-wheeler, but that was minor. Yeah. This was like, oh, no. I threw a jab, and I hear the bones. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done, man. Like, I gotta. So that was plates, screws, and I was at that point. Now we're getting a little older, right? The cutoff for the age is coming up, and call the recruiter. Hey, man, I ain't gonna make it on Tuesday. Probably not gonna make it for the next 6 months. He goes, no, man, that's a year minimum. Okay.
So you injured your forearm or your shin?
Yeah, forearm. Oh, forearm. Okay. Yeah. So it was a high kick. I went to check that kick, and it,
man,
just. Whew.
That's fucking brutal. So they made you wait a year.
Well, I had to recover. I had to get surgery, and I'm freaking out. I'm already old. So doing what I can with a cast on my arm and get the cast off. They start letting me PST again. Now we got to get waivers because we're going to reach the age limit. Needed waivers for the charges that I had in college. And in my mind, I'm like, well, you guys shouldn't be looking for choir boys, right? Like little edgy dude, it should be fine. So, yeah.
Man. So a year takes place. Was it longer than that?
Yeah, it was about a year and some change. Earned the contract back, but then you get into the medical portion of it. So I was fearing the dive metal in my arm. I don't know. I saw dudes that were farting the wrong way were getting kicked out of boot camp. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like, golly, man. Yeah. So I was freaking out all the way through. Got the contract. Pull-up numbers went down a little bit, but was able to make it happen.
At that point, did it bother you, or has it since?
Oh yeah, it's there.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's there, and especially when you're. I remember carrying the boats was a thing. Grip strength was the issue.
Yeah.
So a lot of tape. But for the most part, it's weird stuff. Like nothing can touch that part. That's metal. It's weird. It'll shut down. But yeah, through training, it was definitely something I had to at least
deal with.
Yeah, but everyone's dealing with something there.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so you show up. I mean, you're 27, 28.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're right on the limit of.
Oh yeah.
How was going to boot camp as a fucking 28-year-old?
That was the hardest part of training.
Yeah.
I won't lie to you, man. That absolutely was one of the most mentally challenging parts. I wasn't ready to be a leader at that time.
Really?
I'll be frank. I was selfish. Yeah.
Even with all of the kids classes and because that's a pretty
crazy.
Mentorship kind of role.
It is.
Or leadership.
I was fighting some of my own dragons and demons, right?
Yeah.
Got there. I was super focused on some things, and I just wasn't ready. And then they made me the leader, right? You're the old guy. You're running this thing. So I'm marching in line, yelling at everybody, and teaching kids how to stamp their underwear and fold their clothes, and the Manny came out in me, and that's when it turned.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, Chris, like you should probably pour into these guys, because who knows where you might end up with these guys. So, and sure enough, there were a couple that to this day talk to very close to. We made it all the way through. But,
so this was SEAL prep wise, like your entire boot camp division were candidates?
So they do 8. Well, they did at that time. It's changed, it's evolved, but they did 800 divisions. So you get SEAL, SWIG, divers. They kind of jam them together.
Okay.
And even when I was going through, they gave you a couple of days a week to go down and hit the pool and run a little bit, so you wouldn't just atrophy to nothing before you checked in at the center. So,
yeah, I mean, we didn't have that when I came in '96. Yeah, I mean, I got in considerably worse shape in boot camp between just crappy food, bad, little no sleep, and not anywhere near from a volume standpoint what I was working out at. Yeah, it was bad news. But all right, so you get to kind of sort through the leadership struggles there, and then ultimately from there, did you go to the Great Lakes prep course thing? Or
I did. So paid athlete essentially for about 8 weeks. So you get out of the boot camp, you drive across the street, you're feeling yourself, you're getting your hair back, you get a little bit of freedom, you get some liberty. And that prep course is a double-edged sword for a lot of guys, because you're coming out of boot camp where, again, like you just said, you atrophy a little bit, right? You're not really getting the volume, and you get to the prep course and it's boom, full in. Running. So this is where guys' legs just started giving out on them at this point.
Yeah.
A little bit too, for some guys it was too much. And if you got stuck in that little land of over there with an injury, it was tough to get out, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember it was tough to get out of that place. So double-edged sword, yes, you got back in shape, but almost you had a chance to break yourself too before you even checked into the big game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Did you fare okay injury-wise?
Yeah, everything held up pretty well. I lost a lot of skin like everybody else during Hell Week, but nothing crazy.
I just mean in the prep course.
Oh yeah, nothing crazy.
No injury.
I kept pretty limber.
And then you show up to Bud's. From what you expected versus what it was actually like, was there a huge disparity, or was it about how you thought?
It's about how I thought, man, if I'm being honest with you. We were a summer class. You get there, you check in, you got 3 more weeks of in-doc. And then once you phase up and you get going, it was full Benny. Yeah, it was full Benny. It was what the brochure said, to say the least. Yeah.
Did you make it all the way through with your original class?
I did.
Yeah,
I did. I wasn't. That would have sucked at 30 now coming back.
Yeah, no shit. Retread.
Yeah.
Were there any, I guess, portions of Bud's that, from a performance-wise standpoint, that you struggled with?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think if you didn't struggle with something, right, were you really there? I struggled a lot with some of the diving stuff for some reason. Not water competency, pool comp was all good, but just some of the diving just didn't click for me right off the bat. First phase, as far as physical evolutions, that really sucked. Obviously, duck walking up a hill with a boat in your head, pretty much impossible. But we gave it our all. And then the 2-mile repeats in Hell Week, that crushed me, man. Yeah, it crushed me. So that was a close call for me actually on that one.
Yeah. What was the the most memorable part of Buds for you? Like, if you look back fondly from almost like a nostalgia standpoint, what stands out?
From Buds, what stands out the most is really the bonds that I got to create there and forge.
Yeah.
Coming from a place where that sense of family was super important to me, and I necessarily didn't get that full effect of that growing up. I started picking guys, and guys started picking me to go make a new family.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. And I would say the one thing that sticks out the most is Bud's a competition. You're not gonna like everybody there. It's just the way it is. And there was another candidate there, and him and I, we had some rub, and for the right reason. We're competitive. This was kind of unheard of in our 309 classes. We sat down and we hashed the shit out.
Really?
I don't like you. You don't like me. We know that. How are we going to move forward? We have to move forward. And that conversation with this individual has made us probably really, really close. I won't say best friends because of proximity, right? But really close, man. Really? And to have that heart-to-heart conversation, that hard talk with another candidate, and it not get physical, I thought that was really something I wanted to cherish there, because we were all growing as humans and as men at that point, right? Yeah. So that was really special for me, man.
Yeah, that's cool. So he made it through, and
dude. Every time I see this guy, it is, oh, what's up, man? And we'd say, hey, you remember that time we were about to kill each other? I remember that time we were about to kill each other.
At what point in training were you when you sat down?
Right there in second phase.
Second phase.
Wet, smelly, nasty. I think it was dive hell week, man.
Yeah.
We were sleeping in the dive locker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. All right, so you make it through with that class. Anything else happen during Buds that stands out?
Oh yeah.
What happened?
Oh yeah. So, well, not Buds, but SQT. Okay. So you change your officers out. You lose your class's officers. They got to do their little officer thing with pens and paper and all that stuff, and then you get the officers from the class below you. And that group of officers was solid, man. They a good mix of OCS and academy guys. They meshed really well, had a great relationship with each other, and they were good leaders as well.
Yours or the new ones?
The new ones that we picked up.
Yeah.
So SQT, we're in jump school, and we noticed that not all the guys are there, and we're looking around for some individuals, and we're starting to notice, like, hey man, it's fucking all officers that we're missing. So OIC gets in right. I'm like, well, someone must have ordered the cake, right? So we're like, what's going on here? Our OIC at the time gets in front of us, like, hey boys, and he's pale white. I'm like, oh shit, man, like what happened? Some guys took off in a Cessna to Vegas.
So you're going through jump school down at Brown Field?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Down in, they flew. One of the officers had his own plane.
Jesus.
Flew some of the boys. Well, I guess, weight's a thing on those. And you got some big dudes getting on that plane on a hot day.
Yeah.
She might not stay up. And that's what happened.
Really?
And they had a legit plane crash.
No way.
Absolutely, man. I think it was like 4 or 5, maybe 6. How many people they could fit in the plane? And to the pilot's credit, gained altitude, swooped that thing down as soft as landing as possible. Bird goes on fire. Some guys get burned pretty bad, but everyone survives. And I just was just,
dude, that's nuts.
Dude. So we're like, so what's going to happen to these guys? So one guy was already checked into a team. He's a hero. He's getting medals, he's smiling. All the SQT students, bro, you guys can't walk in graduation. You're not getting pinned. And I was just like, oh no. So they worked it out. They're not going to lose 5 good officers they just spent all that money on. So they definitely, got them their pins and graduated, but they weren't at graduation. So that was really tough for those guys, man. I know it was really tough for those guys. But what a crazy story, right? To crash the Cessna and this is not his first plane crash.
Really?
Correct.
Man, I'd maybe
not
hang it up. I might want to not fly. Man, that's wild.
Yeah, so that was a good one.
Did the injuries that those guys sustained weren't career-ending, obviously?
No, the one guy that had already been checked into the team, he got burned up pretty bad because he was trying to get everybody out of the door. And, that door was right by the wing, so the fire was there. And he got some pretty good burns. Yeah. A couple other guys got burned up, but nothing serious. They're fine now.
Did you get the story of, like, where they crashed? And, it was out in the middle of nowhere. They had
pretty
to walk for a while?
Or? I think it was like they went to take off. This isn't going to work, guys.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to bring this thing back down.
Yeah,
so
it's
it's pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you make it through the rest of SQT without any other things like that happening?
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
I have to ask, you got pinned at SQT, right?
Right.
Yeah, maybe you know where I'm going, maybe not. Maybe you don't. I don't know. We'll see. Did they fucking give you the pound in, or did they rob you of that?
It didn't happen at the graduation.
Yeah.
It did happen at the platoon level.
Once you showed up?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Because, traditions, you check into the team, you haven't shown us anything yet. So
did they kind of make you earn it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Did they take it and say, we'll let you wear it when?
Yeah, if you got to wear your blues or something like that, but we're going to get through workup. We're going to make sure you're supposed to be here, and you'll earn these back through
that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was the right way to get it done.
Yeah.
And not everyone necessarily, you might get your bird back, you might not get your patch. It just kind of depends on performance and where you're at.
Yeah.
But we definitely, and we had to wait and wait and wait. So I didn't get my pound in until I was actually on deployment.
Really?
I didn't get blood pin until I was on deployment. Yeah.
Wow. That's funny. Well, not funny. I mean, to me, the fact that what it should tell leadership, and we talked a little bit about this last night, but to me, like that's a clear-cut example of a policy that gets put in place by people that are so far removed from the actual job itself to where they're too disconnected to be making those kind of decisions. And the fact that a platoon or even an entire SEAL team modifies how they do things to combat a shitty policy.
Right.
If I'm in the leadership role, I'm going to say, okay, that was the wrong call by us then. If the platoon is having to fix what we changed, and it's a problem.
Right.
Having said that, I think that's a neat way to do it, even though I still would prefer, just because it's such a coveted insignia.
Absolutely.
And such a special moment, that getting it and then getting it taken back and then given again, I think kind of cheapens it a little bit maybe, whereas, not getting it at SQT, showing up at a team, being on probation, having to go in front of a chief's board, all that stuff, and then you finally get it in front of the command, in front of the boys officially, and that's the first time you actually get to hold it and wear it. Like, that's a pretty special moment.
It's powerful.
And I think that, having it awarded at SQT that way robs guys of that, I really do. But anyway, still neat that they, do it the way that they do it, I guess. But when you got into the platoon, did you feel like you integrated pretty seamlessly, or were there any issues within your platoon?
I was fortunate that my first platoon was too good. It was just too good. And we were told that as soon as we got there, like, hey, what we're about to do probably won't ever happen again in your career. This is special, so stand by. And we had no idea what they were talking about, right? Also super unique, at least at the time, we only had 4 new guys in our platoon, to include myself.
Yeah.
When I left, it was half and half, you know what I mean? So it was a tight-knit group of 4 dudes. We had an 18-year-old, myself who had just been 30, and another 30-year-old who just checked in, and then our JO. So as far as integration, it was pretty seamless because there were so few of us.
Yeah.
Right. And when I say the platoon was too good, man, everybody was there to work. Didn't matter if you had done 10 runs or if you had done 1 run. You're loading the bottom of the plane, you're cleaning the low bays. There was everyone's there for the same mission, to complete the same thing. And that was super just unique at the time, I think.
Yeah.
And transitioning was good. They gave us great schools. It wasn't, oh, you're a new guy, you can't go to this. They wanted you to be as proficient as you could be.
Yeah. And
they poured into us, which was awesome.
Did you get some pretty good deal schools?
Oh, man, the first one was, I had no idea what it was. Hey, man, you're going to Vegas. For what? Lead climber. Sweet. Never climbed before. At the time, I'm like 225, like shouldn't be up on a map. So I'm like, sweet. So, and then I got rally school right after that.
Man, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What company taught the lead climbing school? Can you say?
I think that was Treehouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got some guys that were really, really good climbers, and they got qualled up. And
yeah, that's cool. Rally school, the same thing, or did they?
No, that was civilian.
Where did they?
That's O'Neill Rally School, I believe, up in New Hampshire, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit of snow up there. You get to drive. I mean, any platform you want.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. What did you get to drive?
So you got to drive everything from like an old '86 rear-wheel drive BMW to Ford Focuses, front-wheel drive, and learn how to make that thing move. And then you get the WRXs, you'll get the old Audis, Quattros, Jeeps. Really give you a good lineup of vehicles to to beat up and try out.
Was the STI your favorite?
No.
Really?
Audi Quattro.
Really?
STI, it's first of all, it's 4-wheel drive, which is fine, but it was a lot of help, like we talked about on the bikes earlier.
Yeah.
It had some help. And
too many driver aids.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they wanted most of those off. They want you to feel the car get out of control. But the BMW rear-wheel drives, man, you can get crazy in those. Yeah. And the old Audi, I think A4s or Quattros were the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was kind of the overall premise? Like when you showed up, did they communicate, here's what we're trying to teach you how to do? I mean, was it more off-road stuff, or what was the gist?
Oh, when we got to that course?
Yeah.
It was how the vehicles work, the difference between 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, trail braking, how to drive a car efficiently in rough terrain, how to vehicle preservation, obviously, was a big one for us. But they said, hey, we're going to get you to get around this course on ice. You know, you're going to be crashing into berms day one. By the end of the week, you guys should be, slipping through here pretty easily. And they did, man. They ran a solid course, and the amount of information that I retained as far as why vehicles act the way they act in certain conditions, what that difference is between different drivetrains, and how I can leverage them to my advantage. Yeah, it was solid, man.
Would you say that it was applicable, the knowledge you gained from there on deployment?
Absolutely, because
awesome.
we drove a lot. I mean, everything was driving.
Yeah, tons of mobility.
Yep.
How long was that workup?
I mean, it's a 6-month pro dev, 6-month ULT, 6-month TJet, and then a 6-month of 2 years.
Wow.
So it's 2 years.
That was like my first deployment. 2 years. That's
so you're going to work 18 months, and then you get to go to the show.
Yeah. Okay. My first workup was 22 months until we deployed, because it was a ARG Alpha. We were on a ship. So.
Right.
Yeah, so it was like 18 months of workup like that,
right.
And then almost 6 months of fleet exercises on a bunch of different ships, and then we deployed. It was a ball breaker. But so what was the special thing that's probably never going to happen again? Was it because there were only 4 new guys, or was there more to it than that?
From the top down. I mean, we had a rock star.
Okay. Just like the caliber of dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, our troop chief, he actually helped put me through buds. We both checked into 10 at the same time. He would never tell you to do something if he wasn't going to do something. Every dive, every jump, every hit, and that bled down. And he was also, working his way back to the command as well. So we had that guy in our troop at the highest level of our community, really pouring into us. And then the OIC was absolutely amazing, gave us freedom of movement, was one of the boys, understood the mission and what we needed to get done. And that trickled down to the troop chiefs and the platoon chiefs and OICs. Yeah. And then from there, it was just, each platoon had their hitters. Our OIC in the platoon was an absolute genius. He understood how to get it done. His leadership was beyond reproach, and everyone underneath of him would do anything for him.
Yeah.
And so it was an easy plug-and-play mission for us to get in there and just add value. That's all we wanted to do.
Yeah. To me, that's great to hear. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yep.
And that was in 2014.
And 15. They said you're never going to get one like this again, man.
Well, not with that attitude.
Well, that's all right.
Shit, you should try to get that every time.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. You're right.
That's it's encouraging to hear, because that wasn't that long ago.
No. There's still hope.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, so 18-month workup, then you end up deploying. You go to West Africa.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Where can you say where in West Africa?
Yeah, I think we pulled out everything over there, man. We pulled out everywhere. So we were started in Cameroon, and Cameroon backs right up to Niger, and we were flirting that line right there. Depending which map you looked at, you might get an extra 10 clicks into actually another country, and that's the map we use, right?
Yeah.
It was a good one, and I was actually doing some calls recently, and just telling guys from that deployment how grateful I was, because I never once felt in danger, never once felt we were out of position or in a bad place. Like, we were good to go, man, and we weren't doing anything with anything. We had nothing there. We had 3 broken Humvees and a bunch of light-skinned Land Cruisers. Yeah. And we made it happen.
Before you left, what was communicated to you guys as to where you were going and why? Or you can't get into?
No, I can. It's just funny you ask that, because it's funny, because you get told one thing.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going there to go ISIS West Africa. Who?
Yeah.
I said, who? Okay. They got. We're there. Got it. So that was what we, hey, there's insurgency there. We're going to eliminate and liberate the people, right? Like make sure it's safe. But when you get into country and you start seeing things and peeling back the onion, you're like, I see why we're really here. We would get out on mission, and these were multi-day. This wasn't like we went out. It wasn't like you went out and came back to the fob. This is 2-3 weeks out in the bush with partner force, corralling kittens, making sure they're where they need to be.
What did you think of those guys?
We trained them, and for partner force, the Cameroonian special forces, solid, bro.
Yeah.
Cobra, solid, man. They wanted to be there. They cared about the mission. They cared about their country, to the point that we were like, okay, like we feel really good about stepping off with these dudes. We're not going to get in between them, but we feel really good about what we're bringing. And that was also really rewarding as well, because FIT is not a sexy deployment. To teach other guys to go do your job, that sucks, man. But we took a lot of pride in those guys, and they took a lot of pride in the mission, so it was really cool. Yeah.
So in terms of what you were told, and then okay, now I see why you're here. What was the real reason that you gathered?
China had built all the infrastructure and got shot off target.
Really?
Oh yeah. So
that's something you don't hear about much.
Right. We were sitting at like little outstations that we had, and I'm like, brand new road in the middle of nowhere, like drainage ditches, concrete, metal bar, pipe, like first world stuff.
Infrastructure.
Right.
Yeah.
How'd that get here? Okay. So now we're going to go sit at an old refinery, and I'm looking down at all the vehicles, and it's the new Ford Rangers that just came to America, but they've got Chinese flags on the roofs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to put it all together now. Okay, I'm starting to put it all together. And that was kind of eye-opening to me. So do some more research, and there's an oil pipeline that we're sitting on. So that's what we're here for, right? That's really what we're here for. We're here to defend that. But that's, a clear mission. I understand that. I can buy into that. That's fine. But just to see who had been there now, who, it's just moving the risk pieces across the board is what I started to connect the dots with.
So ultimately, there was a Chinese presence there, and they got their ass handed to them.
Oh yeah, they got kidnapped.
Really?
Oh yeah, they got slaughtered, man.
Wow, I'm surprised you don't like. So to me, like here's a kind of a really shit or get off the pot moment for China, in that they're starting to encounter, because of all of their globalism from an economic standpoint, they're starting to encounter a lot of the things that America's been dealing with for decades.
Right.
I don't see them doing much about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like they're not sending troops anywhere. They're not throwing aircraft carriers off the coast or wherever. They're not. There's no show of force. There's no retaliation. Like they're just letting it happen. That seems weird to me.
Very weird. But there's got to be a why.
Did you guys talk about that at all?
We didn't speak much about that. We just all kind of.
Did you talk about the Chinese component?
Oh yeah.
And what was the platoon's take, or was it?
They were. The platoon's take was basically like, they were here, now we're here, and we're going to maintain this, and we're going to keep this.
Yeah. Did anybody? Sorry. Go ahead.
No, we just wanted to be placeholders there, so that someone else couldn't move in.
And everybody on the platoon side was good with that.
Yeah, man. These guys were super dialed in on what the task at hand was, and the task at hand was to train the partner force so they can, when we leave, they can do this job themselves.
Yeah.
That was the mission, right? That's what we're being. That's the mission.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everyone was okay with that and kept that in the front sight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's my age. It probably is, because I know, I was active from 18 to 30.
Yep.
And the way I thought about things, what we were doing, why we were doing them, very naive. That's what we're supposed to do. It must be the right fucking thing. I didn't question anything, really.
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot. Like maybe a little scratch of the chin here or there, but I didn't really think that hard about most things. I also, admittedly, then didn't pay anywhere near as much attention to politics and political issues as I do now. Not that I'm a junkie by any means, because I'm not. However, hearing you describe what you were told and then now why you're there, if it's me and I'm in that position, like my first question would be to the OIC, be like, why did you tell us that we were coming here to combat ISIS, Africa, when we're fucking with a Chinese pipeline?
Right.
Like, is our life worth that? Like, and why did you tell us the wrong thing? Like that'd be my first question.
Right. And I found myself in that position asking why, and why did get me in trouble a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I was older. Because I wasn't looking through the paper towel tubes as deep. And I always did ask why, and we were told to ask why, not in a challenging manner, but just so I can understand. That way I can execute.
Yeah. Did they ever give you any?
No, other than the fact that this is what we're doing, and definitely wasn't the platoon OIC at that point. I mean, he was straight up with us and what the deal was. Our platoon was straight up.
Yeah. To me, again, like I'm at an age now where I'm a fair bit older than. I mean, how old was your OIC at the time? Do you remember?
Me and him probably about the same age is what I'm assuming. Yeah. So about 30, 31.
Yeah. So I'm quite a bit older than any of your guys that were there.
Right.
I mean, I'm at an age now where I'd be like a senior warrant or I'd be at the Pentagon advising people, whatever, which is creepy to think about, frankly. Like it's kind of depressing to think about. But when I look at that, I'd be like, okay, well, that's not the right answer. Like, who do I need to ask about? Like, why aren't you asking who told you?
Right.
Like I would say that to my OIC. I'd be like, who's your boss? Did you ask him why they bullshitted us?
Right.
And if he gives you the same answer you're giving me, ask his boss. Like,
right.
Ask until you get somebody that has the answer, or is at least going to tell you to go fuck yourself.
I respect that too. I respect that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I don't know how you don't do that in that position. Like where I'm at now, there's no way I'm not letting that.
Right.
Or there's no way I'm letting that go.
You're not going to tell me as the guy underneath you, boots on the ground, that hey, this is why you're there. You're going to say that, Chris, this is why you're here.
Yeah.
Really, this is what's going on.
Yeah, like here's the reality. Like,
yep.
And because to me, like that's at least face value. You know. And if you're not okay with that, hey, no problem. Like each guy is his own man and can make his own decisions. If you decide I'm not fucking doing that, then whatever. But you made a commitment to fucking serve for X amount of time, and this is what we're telling you to do. You don't have to agree with it. But to me, like that's the way better way to approach grown fucking men who you trust, millions of dollars of equipment with. Trust them with the real reason why they're there, and don't feed them some line of bullshit.
Absolutely.
I mean, to me, that's a huge flaw in our military, I think. Anyway. Throughout that entire deployment, were there any close calls with any adversarial forces, or was it pretty quiet?
We were on point. It was exactly what the brochure said on this one.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was at night. No one knew we were there. We got in, got out. By the time we were down the mountain, getting back to the VIX, you heard the warning shots. They just found their guys. So
really?
It was.
Dude, all right. Well, what do you got?
We're hiking up some pretty steep mountains to get to where we need to go. We've done the trip a few times, recce'd it, made sure, hey, we've got our ducks in a row. We're going to go execute. It's like a 7-hour drive and razors and broken, and we couldn't get up there in the Humvees because they're just too wide. So we get up the mountain. We needed some sort of CASEVAC because we're getting up mountains. So we're like, hey, we'll use the razors. And I'm like, how are you going to get up terraced mountains with the razors? I'm the engineering rep, so I'm trying to sort this out for us, right? So we make bridges. To get the razors up and down. I'm like, man.
Out of what?
Wood, metal, whatever we could find. Man. We just had to get up these terraces because they form on the mountain. So we take off, we're going, and we just get set up beautifully. We know the village target's down in the valley. We've got some overhead. They're saying, hey, there's some guys about 700 meters off that way. We've got, an overwatch times 2. We've got guys down there. We're set up beautifully, man. And nothing but 3, 2, 1, execute, man. And it fired off. So we initiated that. We had guys, I think the assault force, they knew, everyone was asleep, had no idea we were there. And they got all their shots off before anybody could even make a move. One guy squirted, eliminated. The guys that were, off to the distance, basically their overwatch. We got the privilege of using our weapons in a useful manner. So automatic gunfire, heavy gunfire, rockets, as many as we can get out. Spreading a whole lot of hate at that time. And it just felt right and it felt good.
Yeah. That's like classic DA.
It's 100%, man. It went flawlessly. The walk there sucked, but man, everyone was smiling on the way down that mountain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was super just satisfying to know we did it. We were successful, and it went off without any contingencies having to be activated.
Yeah. Wow. Can you say who the target was?
Yeah. So we were, again, ISIL West Africa. So these guys were ISIS, a chapter of ISIS that were embedded right there on the border of Niger and Cameroon.
Okay.
So the same folks that unfortunately got the Army guys as we were leaving, actually. We were just, I think, a month out of country when that incident took place. So same same group of individuals as what we were hunting down. Their faction, again, was a little smaller in the mountain passes where we were at. And we just absolutely got to go crush, which was cool.
So I guess let me take a step back on myself here in that. So you were combating ISIS guys there.
Absolutely.
But that wasn't the only thing you were doing.
No.
Or I guess would you say, could you pinpoint that was the primary thing that you were doing, or was it like?
It was absolutely the primary thing we were doing is training the partner force.
Okay.
You have to remember now, this is the time where these 3 letters mean everything to a Navy SEAL. A AAA, advise, assist, and that last A is the most important. Accompany.
Yeah.
We can advise you from the fucking jock.
Yeah.
We can assist you by giving you vehicles and weapons, but if we can't go with you, it's hard. It's hard to get the boys behind that one, right? So we were blessed with that AAA mission. We got that third A, so we could assist and go with the partner force. That's what gave us the ability to go do work.
Okay. Well, I need to stand myself the fuck down for a second. Like I was under the impression that the only reason that you were there was fucking guarding the pipeline. So that's my bad.
No problem at all. Again, it was sold as a FID mission.
I gotcha.
And then we had worked our way into, hey, we can go with these guys. And then as we get on target, we're like, a lot of infrastructure in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. All right. So on this raid, you were a heavy gunner, right?
I was.
Did you guys initiate with a Gustav?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
couple of them.
Do you remember what the rounds were?
Yes, I do.
What were they?
So our rocket man, great individual, absolutely hilarious man. He was all about having, dialing that round in, laser tag, really getting this and that. He's like, I don't want to hit him. I want it to explode over him.
Yeah.
I want it to just rain down. And I'm like, yeah, because that way they're not dead. Now we can get after it.
Were they flechette rounds or?
Yes. So we had those, and we had, what else we did? We had, I think, an incendiary with us, a couple of just, normal rounds there for that 84 millimeter.
HEDP,
Yeah, the HEDP round. Yep. And then we had and it escapes my brain right now what that round is called, but you can dial in when you want it to detonate, right? Yeah. So you can laze it. Okay, we're at 700. They're behind the bunker. Let's go 710. Yeah. We'll just get behind that bunker and boom, it'll detonate.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, like that mission is like as textbook varsity squad gold standard SEAL mission as exists, right?
I felt that way. Yeah, it felt good. It felt really good.
That's incredible. Any sniper guys on the element, or was it?
So our snipers were the guys that were down there in the valley. Those guys were, they had earned it.
Yeah.
Those guys had earned everything that they had gotten that mission. They did the planning, the route. I mean, they poured their hearts and souls in making that thing happen for us.
Yeah.
So they got to go down there and kick that door.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Do you know how many guys were on target?
I think they came back with 6 KIA.
Yeah. And was that everybody? Did you get everybody?
Well, that's 6 that was down there, and then the other fools we couldn't. I mean, they counted 5 on the rocks that were their Overwatch, and they were completely gone.
Yeah. Wow. Man, that's really cool. I mean, that's like, again, textbook direct action.
And at the time, it was hard to get. It was really hard to get something like that.
Yeah, no doubt. Did you guys do any SSE?
Yeah.
You go on target afterwards?
Absolutely.
Did you find anything obscure or that stood out as being like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man, we were finding like M16 parts from they were nice too, like chromed out on target. They weren't full guns or weapon systems. They were just pieces of them, but to find an American made in the middle of nowhere, man, was pretty cool. A lot of handmade stuff, obviously. You're dealing with tribal people.
Like what, weapons-wise?
Yeah, weapons. Yeah, knives. They had muskets that they had fashioned themselves for the most part. They had AKs that were in workable condition, I would say, and enough rounds that if they would have put up some sort of fight.
Were the rounds Chinese, Russian? Could you tell?
I didn't know that. That I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to bet you.
Yeah.
Given what we've seen already in country, it's probably going to be a Chinese.
Yeah. Living conditions, quarters-wise, what was that like there?
A treehouse.
Really?
That's what we called it. It was pretty cool, man. Our camp was,
I mean, I'm sorry, for the target.
Oh, mud huts.
Yeah.
Mud hut straw roofs. Super tribal, very small village. Some metal buildings, but just flimsy metal, nothing crazy. you could kick most things over, you know.
Did you get a sense for, in terms of how it was set up, kind of what they were doing? Was it just like an outpost?
Yeah, absolutely. It was an outpost. We knew that it wasn't a stronghold. We just knew that it was their first outpost before you went over the border.
Okay.
So it was the first step to get into this year, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
So
okay.
you get through that valley, you go up the hill, and you're in it.
Yeah.
You're in it.
Anything else personal effects wise, currency, like did anything stand out as you being surprised that you were finding it there? Or was it all just
I mean, it was my first one, so I was surprised about everything. I'm just super jacked up and happy to have had the mission. And no, there wasn't anything too crazy. You know, our guys did a really good job down on the ground doing SSE. EOD was there, making sure everything was good. Everyone did their job beautifully to a T that day.
Were there any computers or satellite comms or anything like that?
No, but a lot of cell phones.
Yeah.
So they, it's crazy. These folks, water out of a hole, house made out of mud, but Tommy Hilfiger jeans and pretty nice cell phones and enough SIM cards to really communicate on different levels.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. All right. So you guys go back. Everybody's high-fiving.
Good time. Well, we had to get back, and that was a long drive in the middle of the night. We had guys swerving us.
So you almost didn't make it?
Yeah, it wasn't the enemy. It was driving that would have got us on that one, man. It was, yeah, boys. I mean, I remember guys just dry scooping C4.
Oh, wow.
And the driver's seat just to kind of make it happen. You know what I mean? Just to stay relevant at the behind the wheel.
The all-night gig. Yeah, that's a big plug for C4. Probably.
Yeah.
That stuff's good. They're not a sponsor, but I do like it. All right, so you guys get back, and you're living in a treehouse, or you call it?
We call it the treehouse, and it is. There's just one huge tree in the middle of it, and there's this deck that's around it, and it's all Alaska tents or CB huts. You know what I mean? And we would constantly were improving our living quarters, right? You know, making it nice. Got a little rope swing in there.
Just in time to leave.
Just in time to leave. Or no, even better, time to retrograde.
Yeah.
Not only are you leaving, but you got to pick all your shit up too. Pick all your toys up and take them with you.
Yeah.
So that was, it was cool.
Man. Were there other missions like that, or was that the kind of the...
That was the big one for that. I know when I say the platoon, I had to leave middle of the deployment to go watch the birth of my son, which, by the way, the community got that one right, man.
Oh, wow.
I will say that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So pretty rare to be able to send me from the middle of nowhere, get me home in time, watch my baby boy be born, and then back to the action.
Damn, that's really
so
cool.
That was, they got that one. That was my platoon OIC on that one. He made that happen.
Yeah, that's wild.
So those guys they did one when I was gone, and I don't know the in or outs of that one. I don't think it was as kinetic to my knowledge. But again, we'd stepped off. Op tempo is not what it was, so about 3-4 times that deployment.
Yeah, all similar stuff.
For the most part. Without, or we were wrecking the next target.
Yeah. On that initial direct assault, or direct action rather, do you remember about how long the sustained initial?
Oh yeah, I mean, I
gunfire was.
So if we went, so I'm going to count boxes. That's how I'm going to count boxes at that point. I think I was changing to my third box of 100 rounds. Barrel was about to go because I was just negligent with just letting these things go. This thing's
like the first time getting laid.
Yeah, 100%, man. I have
no self-control.
No guilt in that, no shame in that. I absolutely just let it go.
Yeah. Did you have a spare barrel with you?
I did.
Yeah.
Spare barrel, spare bolt.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so several hundred rounds. So a good
volley,
blown wad first. Mm-hmm. I mean, did you guys just annihilate everybody? And when you stopped and then the movement element went in, it was just game over?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it was those guys. It was 3, 2, 1, execute. Rocket goes off. They're far enough down in the valley that our field of fire is perfect. We can hit those guys. They can do their thing, and it was a simultaneous just bang for those guys.
Could you put a time figure on time on target about how long you guys were on?
Yeah, I would say between the setup, execution to target, secondary clearance complete, probably 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
From the time the initiation shot went off until you left, how long was that?
Yeah, I think that's my 4 hour window right there. Yeah, that's we took our time. We really took our time, and it was proximity. We were up a mountain, Overwatch. They were pretty down far in the valley, so to get reconstituted, it did take some time to get everybody where they needed to be.
Yeah. That's good stuff. And you had eyes in the sky letting you know what was going on.
We did, but we necessarily didn't need them there for the whole thing.
Yeah. All right, so you barely make it back.
Yeah. Due to driver error. Yeah.
And then you go home, see your son being born. You're married at that point?
Yeah. I was married.
When did you get married?
I got married in Buds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
We got a detour real quick.
Yeah.
How did you meet, and how did that whole thing go down?
So my wife was working at a hot dog restaurant next to my martial arts academy.
Really?
Yeah. So I would just spy on her, see her running from the car to the shop, and went there and got me a hot dog, and it's history from there.
Yeah.
No, we created a great bond. Friends first, and really kind of, she knew what I wanted to do. She supported me 100%. Yeah. She's from the area, so she's familiar with the lifestyle, and she was like, "Go do it, man."
Yeah,
and she's been supporting me ever since.
Yeah, that's great. How was it coming home, seeing your son being born, and having to leave?
Well, given my childhood and kind of it was. For me, I was getting my new best friend. I was getting a mini me. I was creating life. I have responsibility. I mean, so much was going through my mind at that time. And then not to mention, hey, man, I still got the boys that are back there getting it. But as soon as that baby turned into my life, I'll be frank with you, man, a lot changed.
Yeah.
A lot changed. And I was told that was going to happen by mentors. Like, hey, once you have the first one.
It's different.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, man.
Yeah. All right, so you go back. You did a couple more missions.
Yeah, we did a couple more. Like, again, now we're getting into the point where we're talking about turnover with Team 4. So we're setting things up for them, cleaning up, and then it turns into you're probably going to retrograde the whole thing. So now retrograde takes priority over DA. They want their equipment back. They want to know where their money's at. They want to think inventory. So the last part of that deployment, unfortunately, was not as kinetic as anyone would have liked because we were packing bags.
Yeah. Did you do any more actual raids like that?
No.
It was all recce type stuff.
Yeah, recce. Just real low impact stuff.
And you didn't get into it with anybody?
KLEs, things like that, man.
I don't know what that is.
That's a key leader engagement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's a new one.
And thank you for asking that, because most people just, okay. And like, I was the first one. If I know an acronym, what'd you say, sir?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly times on here where guys will say something. I'm like, dude, I have no idea what the fuck you just said.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, I'd rather know. All right, so you guys end up deploying or redeploying, going home. How long were you home before you ended up going on the next one?
So I was home. The SEAL Team 10 rotation is beautiful because you're always home for the holidays.
Oh, wow.
So you come home from deployment like right as fall hits, October. Yeah, and then no one's looking for you till January.
And that doesn't change? Like, so Team 10, like that's just their cycle. It doesn't rotate. It's not like...
You never have a summer because you're sitting in Chaffee shooting heavy guns, but you're always going to have your holidays at home.
Wow. Huh. That's interesting.
Where Team 4 is always gone. Our Team, 4, I think, relieved us. Was always gone for the holidays.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So was it another 18-month work?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I checked in. I switched jobs.
Oh, okay.
So I went over to the kennel.
Oh,
I got news.
Oh, that's right.
I got news from my my troop chief. Great dude. He's like, hey, Cap, you're and he knew back at Buds because I basically got booed off stage when I said I wanted to be a canine handler.
Really?
Buds. Yeah, man.
No way.
Yeah, they went through, hey, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And I want to be, I've been, the picture is on my wall, been on my wall from the book. Yeah. My wife framed it for me because she knew that was my goal. She likes putting things that I want to accomplish in front of me. And I want to be a canine handler. Yeah, that's where turds go.
Really?
Yeah. And I said, well,
I'm a turd then.
Then I guess I'm going to be another one of them. But I was like, and he was like, well, why? And I was like, I just think it's really cool to have that asset in a tactical environment. And I've always had a passion for dogs and working dogs. I just love it.
I mean, to me, it's an unfortunate reality in some cases, not in all cases. I think it gets mischaracterized at times, but the reality of it is because it's kind of a bastard child, from a detachment standpoint, it's not a priority, and people may hear that and think like, the fuck do you mean it's not a priority? It's like, well, keep in mind the things it's competing with.
Correct. That's it. You're hitting it. JTAC sniper.
Yeah, everything's a priority, so which means nothing's a priority or not everything can be a priority. So you still have to put it somewhere where other things are going to come from an importance standpoint in front of it. But there is that unfortunate kind of reality that, some cases it's guys that, are not good enough for people to want them to to be in their platoon, but they're not shitty enough to actually fire.
Correct. So that's where we got the land of misfit toys.
Yeah,
And it was and knowing that, I'm motivated to change that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I felt that there is absolutely nothing else that we could have with us that can do what this can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I as soon as I got done with Christmas and New Year's, I showed up at the kennel before orders were even cut, and I said, "Hey, I'm here. Where do I start?"
Yeah.
And
awesome.
and the trainers were like,
"Who's this guy?"
"Yeah, we never what?
You're happy to be
You?
here?
What?
Yeah.
Okay." So they suggested some books I should read, and said they'll see me when the course starts, and yeah, man,
Off to the races.
It was off to the races from there.
And so Mickey was your first dog. Tell me about the time you met.
Yeah, this is a good one. So, you get excited about something, you've got this thing, you've got the plan, right? Hey, we're going to get there. We're going to learn. I'm going to be able to pick my dog. I'm going to pick my dog. So we get into the course. It's a less experienced guy. So new guy as a handler. Okay. Good buddy of mine now. He's still active. And then it's another guy from 3 Troop, Breck, and myself. And we're all in there, and we're getting down, we're talking, they're giving us gear, and I'm like, wait, these bags have names on them. They must have, that's not my name. All right, let's go down and go see your dogs. Cool, man, I'm excited now. Here, it's Round. The new guy, he, hey, this is your dog. I'm looking at him like, he's like 80 pounds, he's red, like that thing is fucking sick, man. Okay, I like where we're going here. This is looking good, all right. The next guy, he gets his dog. All right, this is gonna be you. He's young. I'm like, young. He stood up on this fucking door and was 8 feet tall, man. He was a dire wolf. I was like, this is all like, oh, hell yes, bro. And I'm sitting there thinking, hey, I'm motivated. They know I want to be here, so let's go. All right, Cap. I look down at the kennel. There's your guy, and it's just this little yellow dog, man, just as ratty as they get. And, they
crumpled ear and
snaggled
tooth.
Yeah, they just got him like a couple weeks ago. No training. He's like 10 months old. No, he's green.
Oh, wow.
He's green, but we want to give him to you because we think, how motivated you are. You guys will work well together. Yeah. I'm crushed.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, dude, I got the little one, man.
Yeah.
Fast forward, he's the only one that actually deployed.
Really?
Yep.
The other 2 didn't make it?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
What do you remember what it was?
Yeah, so we found Red in his kennel, bloated out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we found him. He was real stressy. Damn. We ended up, him and his handler saved his life, got him over to got him right, and they had to retire him, obviously, after that. And then big sexy Rex did not like gunfire, and that is a no-go for us.
Was it aggressive towards it or nervous?
Almost a shutdown. He almost shut down, which I can work with aggressive. We can maybe work with that, but if you're going to shut down, at this point, to build you back up, I might as well just trade you out.
To me, it's surprising that he would even be there. Like, that should have been.
We were pressed for dogs. Yeah, we were hurting.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, so you get a feeling of being let down to start.
Yeah.
What was the first interaction with him like, and how did it go?
Yeah, so they start off real easy. Hey, man, just get in there. Let's start feeding them. Let's clean them. Let's show them that you're going to be their guy. They were pretty straight up like, hey, he's got some quirks that we're still working on. 8 years later, they have not been worked out.
What are they?
He's not giving that ball up.
Yeah.
He's just not. And I don't know if it's and don't get me wrong, it's not that he's not. He has and will. But it's gotten to the point now where we're on our year 7 here, working on this.
Yeah.
And I started once I got to know the dog and understand him a lot better, they're all individual. He was mentally very immature, even when I got him, and to this day he's very mentally immature. And it's almost, I don't want to use the word special needs or anything like that, but he definitely is special. There's just something not crossed right going on in his brain when he sees
neutered?
Red. Just got neutered. Yeah.
Did they make you neuter him before they would retire him?
Yeah, you know that. They don't want me to do anything crazy. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got him, man, and the first interactions were just belly pets and just understanding that he wasn't a vicious dog. And he was still 100% a puppy. And anything he was doing work-wise was pure genetics, and just that was what the imprinting said to go do.
Yeah. The ball thing, I mean, at some point we'll get together. I'd like to try working with him.
I'd be awesome, man.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
All right, so how long of a process from the time you get paired up with Mickey until that you actually felt like we're firing on all cylinders and I think we're a fucking team that could go deploy? What was the time frame?
Yeah. So to put it to help answer that question, the NSW MPC course is the second longest course in Naval Special Warfare, second to the medics. So you get I got an 18-week course, ate up my whole pro dev with just him. And during that time, they basically try to get you through everything in ULT. So you're gonna fast rope, you're gonna rappel, you're gonna swim with them, you're gonna do some CQC, you're gonna do the hit with the dog. I saw the need for us to get some more training. So I was fortunate enough to be able to go over to the MARSOC subject matter exchange and go run through all of Camp Pendleton, South Towns, and stuff like that as like an extra little bit for us. Mickey and I were confident and full mission capable at about week 30 of our training. Yeah. So
you felt that.
I felt that because I felt that I knew what he was going to do. And I can anticipate, and him and I have bonded, and I was structured. Yeah. And that's what it boiled down to. Every morning was the same thing. It was a religious schedule that I put him on. So I knew that we had hit those wickets. We had checked those boxes. We had exceeded standard on a lot of things, minus giving the ball up. And I felt comfortable with that. And then to test that was ULT. Yeah. They throw you into Sauk Mutzi. They put you in some stressful environments. And the goal was to get your own release authority. Your goal was to get us close to the front of that train as possible. That makes sense with that asset. You don't want to be the first guy because now you're tied up on something else. You just want to be able to have that, awareness. So we worked really hard to make sure that he trusted me, I trusted him, and then once we had that chief needed to trust us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That was when I got hey man, okay, you've done the work. You run your thing, you give me your intent, status, and outcome when you're done. And I thought that was really cool to be able to earn that from my platoon chiefs. Yeah. To have that freedom of movement with that animal. So
that's cool. Awesome. So I have to ask from a explosive detection standpoint.
Sure.
You reward the dog. Then what? If you're having that kind of trouble with with out in the ball.
So we had a couple different things we tried. The easiest thing is to we'll safe and hang, right? And he will eventually that thing out. The e-collar removes me from the situation, right? That's just voodoo magic to them. That wasn't getting it done. 2 of those wasn't getting it done, and actually made it worse, obviously, as you know. So it would really be a great free pay you 30, maybe 3 to 5 seconds with that thing. Give you the command. I give it to you once. I give you the correction. You don't do it. I'm getting my ball back. Yeah. And pocket, put him down. He shakes his head. He's no longer seeing red. He's back on task. Transition time needs to be 2 minutes from a bite to detection. Yeah. So to detection to a bite needs to be the same, right? So we had to get that ball back pretty quick. Yeah. And that was the easiest way was to choke him off of it.
Yeah. I for sure want to work with that damn dog. I'm going to fix it.
All right. I love it. Hey,
mark my word.
I love it.
Yeah. I'll take it as a personal challenge.
Do you want to know the worst thing about this whole thing?
Sure.
He'll give it to my wife. Gives it. He will that to her. Yeah. I'm the issue. Yeah. I'm the issue. Yeah. I'm the trigger.
Well, I see that a lot in bite work where similarly, guys, if they understand, how to communicate with dogs well or correctly, I would say, not even well, can come up and out a dog off of a bite if they do it the right way better than their handler can, because there's such a contextual association with fighting with the handler.
Absolutely.
That the dog has built over time. Yep. And it just causes a lot of problems. But I'm not going to say it's an easy fix. I think it can be fixed. I think I can fix it, but I would like to try at least. But
absolutely, I look forward to it. And again, and it's going to be me. Yeah. We both know dog training isn't really dog training. It's human. Human training a lot of the time.
Yeah, for sure. So all right. So you guys are firing on all cylinders. You're ready to go, et cetera. Were there any, other than the ball thing, were there any big challenges that you ran into with him during training?
Yeah, it's not big, and I think a lot of people can relate to this that run these types of dogs. Is my main priority and my main job was to protect him from himself. I've got this Tasmanian devil that's going to go through a window or jump into a burning building looking for an odor. My job is to make sure that he stays healthy and can continue the mission. So I'm looking for broken, obstacles and hazards. Yeah. And that was the only thing is he's 100% all the time. And there is no middle ground with that. And just having to control that and kind of take that fireball and push it this way or that way. Yeah. That's it.
How would you characterize him compared to all the other dogs that you've worked with in that unit, strength and bite work? normal, above
For
average?
a 60-pound animal, I don't think anything. No one else. The trainers, the guys in the bite suit, would say that he's got the mouth.
Yeah.
Like the mouth's there. Like he wants to be
Intensity-wise.
there. Oh yeah, he wants to be there, man.
Even
Yeah.
at 10 months, he was that way?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got
surprising.
the, yeah. I mean, he was the real deal, man. He was a man dog, and that's why they brought him on.
Yeah. I mean, that's rare to see it at that age.
Oh, yeah.
At least from my experience. But all right. So at what point were you transitioned into now deploying with a dog? And was it a scenario where you deployed with, like you knew the platoon that you were going to deploy with well beforehand?
So what I did during my ULT is I pimped myself out to anybody who wanted the asset. Hey, if you're going on a hit, training right now, we're just getting through training. Hey, let me bring the dog. So I was bouncing from one troop to two troop to this platoon to that platoon.
Same team or different
Same
team?
Same team. Really just showing the capability, earning everybody's trust, and getting my reps, because that's what this boiled down to, is getting as many reps as possible, right? Yeah. So I farmed myself out to anybody who would have me, which gave me a lot of experience and a lot of extra reps. So that was pivotal with us having that confidence to be able to go out and do what we were doing. And, then it turned into, hey, can we work with, we get to our final battle problem as our workup's starting to slow down. Final battle problem you're going to get with everybody that's going to be in country with you, Army, Marines, everybody. You're all going to go somewhere and go train together. And, hey, you guys need a dog? Oh, yeah. Come run with us for a little bit. Awesome, whole nother unit, whole nother branch of service. I get to see how they operate, how they're clearing, and I get to now utilize my asset on their mission. I was like, this is awesome. Same thing with the Marines. They were on station with us as well, doing some training. The other handler, I was like, hey, man, you should go with them, and then we'll flip-flop. So we went everywhere to try to get ready, and then once we checked, we're satisfied with that, it was no doubt that we were going to go and be very confident in our deployment and do work. Yeah.
And so from the time that you paired up with him until you deployed was how long?
Yeah, 2 years.
Okay.
I got him in January, like 6th or 7th, and that was 2018. And then we took off 2019, spring.
So he was almost 3 when you deployed then.
Yep. So I've got a full grown now, and
man dog.
But I also got it was mine, which was rare. Like I got to put my heart and soul into this dude, man.
That's awesome. All right, so you deploy. Did you know who you were going with and where you were going before you left?
No, because where my platoon was going was nowhere that was going to benefit me or the asset, right? So I jumped ship, which was good and bad. Good for us, but looked at maybe,
Was that your decision or was it dictated?
It was my decision to chasing war.
Yeah.
Yeah, being frank, chasing war.
Yeah. To me, it's refreshing to hear that they gave you that level of autonomy, because a lot of times it'd be like, tough shit, this is who you're going.
Right. And well, look, we had an interesting, remember I had a really good platoon on that first one. This next one, unfortunately, didn't live up to the same standards, which how could you, right? So I was kind of itching to maybe move laterally as it was. And I ended up in a different platoon, same team. That got me into what I thought was going to be a good deal. And then we took an unfortunate loss on the West Coast. And that opened up an opportunity for me and Mickey to go augment with SEAL Team 7 and get into it.
A dog got killed? Or?
Yeah, FBC Charlie.
Yeah.
And I remember the call came in. I had some buddies on the platoon from Buds, and I was kind of, fishing. Hey, how's it look out there? You guys need another dog? And he was like, man, as a matter of fact, we just lost ours. So I get that word and do some more information, do some more digging on the situation, what happened. And SEAL Team 7 at that time, they were getting in some pretty decent ticks over in Iraq at that time. So op tempo was a little bit different than what we had in Africa. So it was very appealing for us to try to make that move. So I pushed it up to my chief, and he looked at me in the face and said, be careful what you're asking for, but I'll send you. I trust you. Just be careful. You know what I mean? And it took us a month to get in the country, but we did. We backfilled NPC Charlie, who absolutely saved the people behind him, the service members behind him, his handler and his number 2 man.
Do you know what happened?
I do, and I'll tell you all about it right now, man. It was absolute glorious to watch that dog do what he did. ISR is clear as day. They're on a manhunt. Unfortunately, the squirter, he got bedded down pretty well and knew that they were coming for him. Getting a good handler, hey, go find him. Go find him. Charlie went and found him, and the guy was bedded down, ready for an ambush. He was well equipped. So Charlie ate 2 AK rounds, which would have been for his handler. Got a grenade off, which knocked the handler on his feet. Charlie engaged, stayed engaged. Realized, hey man, he was gonna go, and came off and took his time out in the corner, and that was him. You know what I mean? Super tough to watch, especially. And you see the handler just doing everything he can from the ground to try to help his boy out. Number 2 man steps up and then neutralizes the target, right? But Charlie was special, man, and he'll super missed. And his handler is a solid human being who cared a lot about him, man. So my heart goes out to him, and but it did open up the door for Mickey and I to backfill.
Well, and you know, as tough as those losses are, you know, again, like if you're ever faced with the question of, you know, do we send the dog or the human? Like, it's always going to be the dog, you know, or if you can pick, do we lose the dog or the human? Like that's not a decision, right? It's a no-brainer. So
no, it's not. And I hate to tell you this, and this is going to go back to our point about upper management. I said the exact same thing you did, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey man, why should we keep this? I'm briefing the Group 2 Commodore. Why should we keep the dog program? You've already marked through my brief, sir.
Yeah.
So I'll leave you with this. I'd rather put 4 legs in a box versus 2.
Yeah.
And it's that simple.
Yeah.
And if you don't see the value in that,
what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that's a classic example. Is that, you know, in that case, Charlie gave his life for 1 or 2 team guys.
Right.
Plain and simple.
That's simple. That's invaluable. Like, not only that, but how many lives did that positively affect?
Yeah.
You're talking about his handler with beautiful wife, family, kids that got to go home because of that dog sacrifice and his just determination and just fearlessness to go into gunfire. So he crushed it.
Yeah.
And you can't hide from that nose.
Yeah.
So.
Did he find?
Oh yeah, our one-legged guy was found. Yeah.